This PowerPoint is going to help you write your annotated bibliography for your final research project of the year. So what is an annotated bibliography? Basically, it's a list of citations followed by a brief descriptive and evaluative paragraph. The whole purpose of the annotation is to inform the reader of the relevance, the accuracy, and the quality of the source that you cited. It's helpful to you because it's excellent preparation for a research project. The annotation helps you study the source more carefully and more in depth. The first step is the citation. So a bibliography is a list of sources that one uses for researching a topic. This is your works cited page at the end of a paper. You will start each annotation with the MLA citation for your source. You want to remember to consult an annotation website just in case to make sure you are citing the source correctly. The second step is the summary. You'll want to start your annotation with a brief summary of the source. Some questions to think about include what are the main arguments, what is the point of the source, and what topics are covered. But you want to be sure that you're not just answering those questions, but moving beyond them. The length of your summary will influence the length of your annotation, so you want to keep it brief. Your summary should only be 4 to 6 sentences. The next step is assessment. You will need to evaluate your source. Is it useful? How does it compare with other sources? Is the information reliable? Is the source biased or objective? But you don't want to just answer these questions. You want to prove your answer. How do you know what you know? So you want to go beyond the surface level of writing and examine the source on a deeper level. This assessment should also be 4 to 6 sentences. Finally, you want to reflect upon your source. You've summarized it, you've assessed it. Now you need to ask yourself how it fits into your research. Was it useful to you? How does it shape your argument? And how can you use this source in your research project? Reflect thoughtfully on the usefulness of the source. However, your reflection will only be 2 to 3 sentences. That means you must have a very powerful 2 to 3 sentences. When writing your annotated bibliography, you need to keep a very formal writing tone. You want to avoid first and second person pronouns. That means no I, you, etc. Avoid contractions. Instead of using isn't, spell it out and say is not. Be sure that your sentence length varies within the annotation. By definition, an annotated bibliography is going to be very concise and to the point. That does not mean it should be choppy. You want to vary your sentence length so that you create a rhythmic reading pattern for your audience. Let's talk about your format. You're going to have a running head, also known as your header, in the right-hand corner of each page, and this should be your last name and your page number. You want to double space the entire page, but make sure that you remove any extra spaces inserted between the paragraphs. That's very important. You're going to have a header, which is your name, my name, the class title and period, and the date. You're going to have a title, which will be centered at the top of your page. This is your topic, followed by a colon, and the words "an annotated bibliography." For example, the Holocaust, colon, an annotated bibliography. After your title, you're going to have your 5 entries. These entries should be alphabetized based on either the author's last name or the first name in the entry. There should be no extra spaces within them or between them, and you should follow the MLA format. Within your annotations, you should have a hanging indent. You should have a 4 to 6 sentence summary, a 4 to 6 sentence evaluation, and a 2 to 3 sentence reflection. Let's look at an example of an annotated bibliography entry. In this particular example, the writer, which I took from Purdue OWL, is looking at Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. So we start with the title of the work in the MLA format. So author, period, title, period, publisher, comma, date, period. Notice that the rest of the page is a hanging indent. So the first line of the citation is flush with the left margin, but nothing else is. In my annotation, I start with a summary. I move to an evaluation, and I conclude with a reflection. You have a copy of this example in your packet to look at. Let's take a look at your rubric. So these are the 4 criteria that I'm going to look most heavily at. The reliability and credibility of sources, the summary and evaluation, the reflection, and the formatting. These are the 4 key elements to your annotated bibliography, and they'll weigh more heavily than the others. You have a copy of this in your packet that you received on day 1. I will also be looking at punctuation, order of elements, completion of entries, and structure. Your annotated bibliography should be completely free of grammatical and structural errors. You want to carefully proofread for both run-on sentences and sentence fragments. So here's what you're working towards. You want to create an annotated bibliography for 5 sources that relate to your public service announcement and infographic. All of these 3 activities should be related to one another. Your annotated bibliography will include a source citation, a brief summary of the source, an evaluation of the source, and a reflection. As always, you want to visit the Purdue Online Writing Lab for help writing your annotated bibliography. In fact, if you Google Purdue OWL Annotated Bibliography, it'll be the first site to pop up. I'm available for tutoring any afternoon, and the Media Center is open every day until 4 p.m. if you need to type your final paper. Let me know if you have any questions, and good luck.